Good evening, graduates, faculty, families, friends, and distinguished guests. I want to express my deepest gratitude to my family, who traveled from around the country to be here today, and most of all to my incredible wife, Beth, whose unwavering love and support made this journey possible. Thank you to the Wilder School faculty for their guidance and encouragement. I'm especially grateful to my advisor, Katie Crump, for answering any question, no matter how big or small. To my mentor, Maureen Mazel-Benway, whose incredible life journey led her to create her course on human trafficking, which illuminated that, even in the darkest corners of our world, people fight daily to bring hope, justice, and dignity to those who need it most. We've all been working toward this moment together and alone. The milestone was measured not just by credit hours and capstones, but also by the quiet persistence that carried us through long nights, hard semesters, and moments when we doubted this day would ever come. Today is a day of celebration, yes, but also a moment of reflection. And how we step into the world next matters more than we know. So I want to talk about something simple, not a career path or philosophy or a 10-point plan for success. I want to talk about kindness. Not the kind on bumper stickers or t-shirts, not performative kindness. I mean the quiet kind, the inconvenient kind that asks something of you, the kind that shows up when you're tired, that holds its tongue when it could have the last word, and the kind that makes space for people we don't understand because they're still worth understanding. I learned this not in a classroom, but while serving 9 years in the Navy. I was stationed with people from every corner of this country, every background, and nearly every belief system. I've met thousands of people, lived in 7 states, and have visited nearly 30 countries. And when you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles away from home, 7 months into deployment, sleeping 4 feet from someone who thinks, acts, and loves the opposite of you, kindness stops being an abstract value. It becomes a way to survive together. And in those moments, you'll learn that differences will always exist, but they don't have to divide us. It shouldn't matter if we identify as male, female, or something else. It shouldn't matter the color of our skin or the God we worship. It shouldn't matter what we love, what language we speak, or where we come from. None of those things should determine someone's value or character. They're just parts of who we are, and differences aren't something to fear. I served alongside people in the LGBTQ community, including individuals who identified as transgender. I served with immigrants and those who worshiped a God I didn't, or who didn't worship at all. Their presence didn't make it any harder to live my life or do my job. In fact, they were some of the kindest, most understanding, and hardest working people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And just because they were different from me didn't mean they deserved anything less than the kindness we all owe each other. And that mindset has stuck with me ever since, because out here in the civilian world, we're not always good at that. We're quicker to label than listen, quicker to assume than to ask, and we often cancel people before we've even met them, and we retreat into our echo chambers, surrounding ourselves with people who think just like we do, and often forget that comfort and growth rarely live in the same room. But here's the thing. The world doesn't need more sharp opinions, it needs more open hearts, because empathy isn't a weakness, and listening isn't surrendering. Compassion isn't a soft skill. It's the foundation of everything that makes a society worth living in. And the best part is that kindness is a choice we all get to make. You won't always feel kind or even want to listen, but every day you'll have the chance to pause before reacting, to respond with grace instead of anger, to offer patience and compassion without abandoning your own boundaries. Because kindness isn't self-sacrifice. It's not about letting people walk over you or ignoring your own needs. It doesn't mean erasing your progress just to make someone else feel comfortable. Genuine kindness doesn't pressure, guilt, or shame. It respects your no as much as your yes. It says, I care about you, but I care about me too. And we should all remember that it's okay to be different, because we all are. It's okay to grow in a direction others didn't expect, or maybe didn't want you to. What matters is that you grow with kindness towards others, yes, but also towards yourself. Be as kind to yourself as you would be to everybody else. So as you leave this chapter behind and step into whatever comes next, I hope you measure your life not just by what you achieve, but by how you show up for and treat others. Success is wonderful and ambition is necessary, but at the end of the day, people remember how you made them feel more than what was on your resume. They'll remember if you listened, if you cared, if you stood up for somebody, including yourself, when it could have been easier to stay silent. That quiet, steady courage to be kind when the world makes it hard will matter the most. And if you do that consistently, imperfectly, and with heart, you'll make a difference more than you'll ever fully know. So if I leave you with one thing tonight, let it be this. Choose kindness, even when it's inconvenient, because it costs nothing to be kind. Congratulations, class of 2025.